Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of May 16th, 2018. So let's get right into it. First up we have American Gods, my Ansel, number 3. I've been enjoying the comic book adaptation of American Gods, but it really makes me want to go back and read the 10-year anniversary edition of American Gods that I have not yet read. So yeah. Good stuff. Next up, we have Aquaman number 36. Dan Abnett has been doing a great job on this book. I've really enjoyed Aquaman. Solid stuff. If you have not yet checked out Aquaman, I do recommend at least checking out Jeff Johns' New 52 stuff. Most of that whole New 52 one I enjoyed, and the Rebirth stuff has been great. So. Next up is a big book for this week, and that is the last part of a story arc, and that's for Batman 47, The Gift. Batman has to kill Booster Gold, but Booster Gold's awesome. Tom King's just done a fantastic job with Batman. I look forward to reading his stuff all the time, and I can't wait to actually reread this because I've already read it. It's so good. But yeah, definitely good stuff. And this leads us to is going to lead us into the wedding stuff. Most of the shops should have gotten this little place card for the save the date. You are formally invited to the wedding of Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne on July 4th of 2018. It's in Gotham City, and invitations to follow. But the big part, the cool part about this is it has everything on the back that you're going to need to know for going forward for this. So I think this is all backwards to you. If not, cool. If it is, oh well. But I'll read it off. So it says, please RSVP to Alfred Pennyworth by June 1st, 2018. I think that is the final order cutoff date for Batman 50. So definitely get in on that. Let your shop know that you want it. But leading up to it, you need to read DC Nation Zero, which came out May 2nd, right before Free Comic Book Day. If you have not yet picked up a DC Nation Zero, do it. It's definitely well worth it. The Joker story in there is amazing. But there's going to be some Prelude issues coming out, and it's Prelude to the Wedding. The first one is coming out the end of this month on May 30th, and that's Robin versus Ra's al Ghul. And then going into Batman 48 after that. Then you will get on June 6th, so Batman 48 is out June 6th. And on June 6th as well, you're going to get the Prelude to the Wedding, Nightwing versus Hush. And then the next week on June 13th, you will get the Batgirl versus Riddler Prelude to the Wedding one-shot. And there's a little break. And then on the 20th, you will get the Prelude to the Wedding Red Hood versus Anarchy and Batman 49. Now, I assume this is the reading order for it. So 40, you'll want to read Batman 48 first, and then read the Nightwing Hush. And then when the 20th rolls around, you want to read the Red Hood Anarchy first, and then read Batman 49. I'm assuming because it's in that order, that's how you want to read it. And then on June 27th, we have the Harley Quinn versus Joker Prelude to the Wedding. That's definitely one that's going to be ordered a lot of. The other ones might not, so if you really are into this, you may want to let your shop know that you want to get all the Prelude to the Wedding stuff, and let them know ASAP, so that they can at least put in a reorder for the stuff that's later this month, or bump their orders on FOC of the stuff coming out in June. So yeah, you want to get on top of that. And then finally on July 4th, we are going to have Batman 50, big issue. So excited for it. But on the same day, we're also getting Catwoman number 1 with art by Jolie Jones. I'm super stoked for that issue. So you can actually visit www.dccomics.com/wedding to register. I think it's /wedding and then to register. But I don't know how legit that is. But yeah, so save the date. It's coming up. I'm super stoked. Tom King's just done an amazing job. I actually yesterday finished reading Sheriff of Babylon. I picked up the deluxe hardcover edition of it, and it is fantastic. I read the first handful of issues when it came out, but I didn't stick with it. Not because I wasn't interested, but because I didn't get a chance to. I wasn't buying it, so I wasn't necessarily. I was reading it off the shelf. I know. Shh, don't tell people. But I did pick up the deluxe hardcover, and it is an awesome, awesome collection. Moving on. Next up, we have Batwoman number 15. I have already gone ahead and read this issue. It's definitely the issue that is putting me on track to decide whether or not I want to continue with Batwoman. It wasn't that great of an issue. 16, I think, is the end of this story arc, which is probably where I will decide whether or not I'm going to continue with Batwoman. If 16 blows me out of the water, then I'll stick with it, but it has to do a lot to do that, because this last issue was just rough. So yeah, Batwoman might be falling off my pull list, and if it does, oh well, it happens, and I'll purge those 16 issues that I got. So next up, we have a Batman Sins of the Father, number 4. This collects digital issues or chapters. I don't know. They switch back and forth. 7 and 8 of Sins of the Father. I've enjoyed the story so far, so I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But it's Batman and Deadshot stuff. It's cool. Next up, we have Bloodshot Salvation number 9. Jeff Lemire's just been killing it with Bloodshot Salvation and his Bloodshot work. So I'm super excited to see where Jeff takes us with Bloodshot. Next up is The Brave and the Bold, Batman and Wonder Woman, 4 of 6. Liam Sharp's just done a fantastic job on this book, just mixing fantasy and the DC, Batman and Wonder Woman and all of this stuff, and his art is just fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, I do recommend it. It's a really, really good read. Next up, we have something from the New Age of Heroes, and that's Damage number 5. I've enjoyed the handful of issues prior. I don't think this is going to go very long, but it's a fun read. It's it's a different thing. It's very reminiscent of Hulk or Weapon H stuff, but again, it's still it's well written, and I've enjoyed it. So, yep. Next up is another Jeff Lemire book, and that is Gideon Falls number 3. The first 2 issues are fantastic. I highly recommend you track down those issues and get on the Gideon Falls train. It is good stuff. Next up, we have Green Lanterns number 47. This continues Ghosts of the Past story arc. Seeley's been doing a good job on this, writing-wise, since he took over, so I'm curious to see what he does with it. I know there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup with the Green Lanterns later this year, but we'll see how everything pans out. Next up, we have Harley Quinn, Harley Loves Joker, number 2 of 2. This is the Paul Dini stuff that they were doing in the back as a backup story in Harley Quinn, the regular issues, but they stopped, and now they're releasing it as just a 2-part or 2-issue mini-series. I really wish they would have kept it in the actual book and not done an entirely separate book. And if they were going to do an entirely separate book, make it a special, make it an oversized, and just put all of it together. Don't throw, if they made it an oversized, it would be $5.99, and so I'm paying $8 instead of $6. So come on, DC, really, get it, come on. Next up is a book I'm really stoked for, and that's Justice League No Justice, number 2 of 4. Scott Snyder's changing things up with the DCU, and the first issue of this was amazing. I can't wait to dive into this one. Ryan Higgins, my buddy who owns Comics Conspiracy, just told me I needed to check out the last panel, and I checked out the last panel. I'm super excited. The character, oh my gosh. So, I'm excited. So, yeah. Another Scott Snyder book that is out this week is New Challengers. This is number 1 for New Challengers, the New Age of Heroes stuff. Finally, we're going to get to see the New Challengers in action. I'm really curious to see what Snyder has in store for us with this team. The Challengers has been a kind of team that has been on the fringes. I've only read a handful of stuff with them. They're kind of like scientists that go out and explore stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I've enjoyed what I've read of the Challenger stuff, but I'm curious to see what Scott Snyder pens for us with this. Next up, we have Ninja K number 7. I've said this before, it's good stuff, and I've said it before that they didn't need to renumber it and call it a different title, but hey, that seems to be what everybody wants to do, is renumber. I hate that stuff. Next up is Star Wars Adventures number 10. This is for my son and myself to read later. He hasn't yet gotten into reading comics. kind of has done in the past, but he's trying to read small chapter books right now, which makes me so proud. Hopefully I can nurture that reading passion in him, and he gets to be a reader. Oh, fingers crossed. Next up, we have the Superman special #1. Action Comics had its special. Now Superman's getting a special. While we are on hiatus a little bit with Action and Superman, while Bendis gives us the Man of Steel miniseries, we're going to get a little kind of random one-shots here from this stuff. So I'm super stoked. It's Tomasi and Gleason, which is already an awesome combination. And Russell's apparently writing something in here, so I'm already super stoked. I like the Action special, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And finally on my pull list is Wildstorm #13. Warren Ellis's schedule of releasing stuff is all over the place, so I can't remember what happened in the last issue, and I can't even remember what happened, period. It's so weird and wacky, but I'm enjoying it. It's Wildstorm. It's fun. So yeah, that's why I'm still into it. I did pick up a couple variants this week. The first one I was going to pick up was Aquaman 36, but our copies got damaged, so I'm going to be waiting on that. But once I get it, you'll see it here. But I did pick up the Amanda Conner variant for Batman 47, where everybody's in the movie theater watching some movie. Hopefully it's good. And then we have Harley Quinn, Harley the Joker 2 with the Frank Cho variant. There for that one. So those are the variants I picked up this week. A bunch of graphic novels this week. The first one I picked up was actually solicited a few years ago, but I guess they resolicited it since the wedding's coming up, and so I decided to pick it up, and that was the Catwoman: A Celebration of 75 Years. I really enjoyed the Action Comics one that came out, the compendium to issue 1000. So I'm gonna check this out and see what this one's all about. Yeah, we'll see. For those of you who haven't checked out Metal yet, or were waiting for it to be collected, well, we're getting there. So the first thing we have is Dark Days, which is the Road to Metal. This collects the Dark Knights, or Dark Days Road to Metal stuff, collects Dark Days the Forge and Dark Days the Casting, as well as some previous stories from that DC has released that have influenced Metal, and some of those are Final Crisis 6 to 7, The Return of Bruce Wayne, Batman: Return of Bruce Wayne #1, Batman 38 and 39, but I'm assuming that's Snyder's run in the New 52 stuff, and also Nightwing 17. I don't know if that's current Nightwing or if that's Nightwing from Rebirth. I'm assuming it's from Rebirth. So yeah, they didn't actually put the years on here, which is something that I think they really need to focus and hunker down on, especially when it comes to all this renumbering that we've gotten, is that companies need to be very specific at what year this series belongs to. So, for example, Batman Scott Snyder is the Batman parentheses 2011 stuff. The stuff for Tom King is Batman parentheses 2016. So 2016, 2015? I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long. Rebirth, I think, came out in 2016. Yes. So 2016 Rebirth. So yeah, but they don't put it on the back here. Now it's great. It's great that they put it down here and let you know what's in it. But I need to know what years, people. Come on. Yeah. I could go an entire video on organizing back issues and the pains in the ass. The pain in the ass that it is that companies renumber titles, rename titles, and then rename them back. And I could do a whole video, but I'm not going to right here. And finally, I picked up an art book that I thought I ordered a long time ago, but it never came in. But I ended up picking it up. I ordered it, so yep. And that's the Art of DC Comics Bombshells. I love the DC Comics Bombshell stuff, so I'm going to check this bad boy out and add it to my art book collection, which is, yeah, I mean, a couple art books here and there. But I'm not a big art book guy, but sometimes I feel like grabbing them. So maybe that collection will grow. So that's it for this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know what you're getting, what you're dropping, why you're dropping it, what you're looking forward to. If you have other questions, go ahead and shoot them there. I try to respond as timely as possible. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @BrockSager. You can also listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just finished recording episode 355, where Bryce Larsen had to concede to Charlie West, and Charlie West is officially the #1 cable fan on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. Jim Jokisch did get a third place on there, but we finally have a winner. So Charlie West actually has his winning speech, and Bryce Larsen has his concession speech. There'll be a link in the description below, but we also talk about other comic book related stuff. So check it out. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting, getting food sometimes, and getting products. So to all our Patreon backers, thank you. We do appreciate it, and it helps. So yeah, and as a Patreon backer, you get exclusive content, access to exclusive content. So as when we can get that stuff up. So yeah. That's pretty much it. This week I am going to watch Deadpool 2 on Thursday night, so I'm super excited for that. And then we got Solo coming up right on the heels of Deadpool 2. So yeah, got a couple movies to watch. And Incredibles 2 is coming out next month. Man, movies are just coming and coming and coming. So super excited for that. So yeah, I'll see you next week. And FYI, if you've stayed this long, I want you to know, I already recorded an entire pull list video for this week. This is take 2, because when I went to transfer the file, it disappeared, or something glitched, and I lost the whole thing. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.